A ridiculous trade offer has been proposed, talking about the Rams trading for the future this upcoming season. We are also discussing a Rams rookie, some things we're going to congratulate him for, some things we're going to kind of warn him of, all on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor. Press the subscribe button now, as roughly 65.7% of you guys are watching the videos already, but you're just not pressing that subscribe button. Do me the favor. If you're already watching the video, might as well press that subscribe button so you don't miss any daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. So daily that I'm recording this at 9 p.m. Pacific time. I'm a little tired. I'm going to get this video out a little late tonight. Sorry about that. My apologies. But we are trying our best, working hard to get daily Rams content out here for you guys. So do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. First things first, we are talking about the Rams trading for the future. Yeah, guys. And, you know, it's that time of year we keep talking about, right? A lot of people don't like sometimes where we're trying to stretch out some of these ideas. Guys, it is pre-training camp, post-NFL draft. It is a tough time to scrape together some NFL news out there. And so sometimes, not just us, but these articles that we're kind of pulling from and just kind of getting these stories and ideas from to discuss, a lot of times they're stretching for the truth as well, right? And I don't mean to disrespect any writers out there or anything, but this one is one that I can kind of, shoo away already and think that this idea is kind of dead in the water already before it starts. So Browns fans already want Shedeur Sanders traded to the Rams. Rams proposed as hypothetical trade team for Shedeur Sanders. And, you know, you can hear it in my voice a little bit. It's a little bit frustrating to kind of see the Rams being tied to stories like this, especially because we talked about Shedeur Sanders during the draft, right? A player that I thought the Rams really possibly could have taken in the first round, right, of this past NFL draft. Good thing I'm not a GM. The guy didn't go to the 5th round in the draft. Something that the NFL draft experts obviously saw about him. Maybe some people still think that the NFL came together to kind of conspire against the Sanders family because of all the things that, you know, Deion Sanders said and kind of did back in his playing days. Whatever you believe about this situation, the truth of the matter is Shedeur Sanders didn't go into the 5th round. And so ultimately, all 32 teams essentially said, you know what, this guy either isn't good enough or a guy that we don't really want in our building. Except for the Cleveland Browns, of course, when it came to that 5th round pick. Now it sounds like Browns fans, or this, you know, the Browns' perspective in general, is potentially moving off of Shedeur Sanders. We're going to talk about why it's kind of ridiculous and why this probably isn't going to happen. But we'll see what they're talking about here in a second. So, Los Angeles Rams, Matthew Stafford, still capable, but the Rams don't have a clear succession plan, which is true. Sanders could sit behind him, learn the nuances of Sean McVay's system, things that I said about pitching the idea of taking Shedeur Sanders months ago, right, in the draft, and grow into a potential starter down the line. His timing-based game and quick release could fit the scheme, and there'd be no pressure to play early. So far, so good. I do agree with most of what this article is saying so far, especially about the Rams and why it makes sense for Shedeur Sanders to come here, right? What we talked about during the draft process, but the draft process has passed and he's signed with the Cleveland Browns, right? So why are we discussing this? So it would be inaccurate, or at least at best misleading, to say that Sanders is anywhere on the Browns depth chart heading into training camp, although coaches may have some idea of where they will slot in. Going into the first camp practices, Cleveland has a wide open a race to the finishing line between 4 quarterbacks, and that doesn't include Deshaun Watson, who was injured. So, veteran Joe Flacco, 4th-year Kenny Pickett, 3rd-round rookie Dylan Gabriel, and now 5th-round rookie Shedeur Sanders. Although it's unlikely that Sanders will win the starting job over the other 3, he could be 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. He could be traded. He could be waived. He could even make it into the practice squad. At this point, Sanders is nothing more than a famous name. And it's very intriguing, right, to kind of hear from that perspective, from the Cleveland Browns perspective, right? They're kind of saying, hey, look, he may not even win. He may not even make it on the roster. He may not even make, the practice squad. Maybe even waived completely, which is not, it sounds kind of crazy to say now, the idea of the Browns moving on from Shedeur Sanders in that way, but ultimately, when we're talking about a 5th-round quarterback, that is always a reality for all 5th-round quarterbacks of all time, right? It's just a possibility of, hey, you're drafted in the 5th round, we'll see if you make the roster, but it's not really that heavy an investment for teams to be like, no, we can't let go of this guy. And so it is very intriguing. It is interesting. I don't think the Rams should definitely call and trade for Shedeur Sanders. I think, always explore and monitor the situation. If he's released from the team, I'm still intrigued. I know a lot of people don't believe in Shedeur Sanders, don't believe he's a good enough player to be in the NFL. I think he has some talent. I think he has obviously the DNA, right, of an NFL legend. And so I think that kind of is worth a try and a shot in the NFL. I think he had some moments in college, right, to be considered a decent NFL prospect. And so I'm intrigued by the whole situation. I'm kind of curious as to what comes of it in Cleveland. But right now, if you're saying Cleveland Browns fans or the Cleveland Browns front office doesn't want him, ultimately that may mean nobody wants him, right? And that's kind of what we're saying here in this kind of section. If he's good enough, he's going to stay in Cleveland. If he plays well enough, why would Cleveland trade him? They're going to keep him on the roster. If he's a good quarterback that the Rams should be interested in trading for, then therefore the Cleveland shouldn't be interested in trading him away, right? If he's bad and Cleveland doesn't want him, then why would the Rams want him, right? So those bold bullets points there is kind of what I'm emphasizing of this whole article. You guys can read it through if you like, but overall, that's kind of the main point of emphasis here. If he's really good, Rams should go trade for him. He's your future quarterback. Guess what? Cleveland has him in the building. They're not going to let him go. If he sucks, go get him. He's not good. Cleveland doesn't want him anymore. Well, guess what? Why would the Rams want him in that situation then? So that's kind of where I'm at in the situation. You guys let me know how you feel about the entirety of the situation. I think it's kind of a ridiculous, kind of ideal, hypothetical situation. I don't think Shedeur is getting traded. If he gets cut, then we can talk about the Rams signing him potentially. But ultimately, if he gets cut from Cleveland, maybe he's not good enough to be on the Rams' radar either. All right, and we're talking about why the Rams' top rookie could be on holdout watch as training camp opens. Obviously, again, piggybacking off what Joshua Feinhurst talked about last episode. If you missed it, these second-round picks, they aren't signing their contract because they aren't guaranteed. They want to get those guaranteed contracts. 2 second-round picks have been signed thus far this season. I don't know if any more were signed today, but overall, we know 2 officially have signed, and they signed fully guaranteed contracts, which is what the dispute is about right now for all the second-round picks. It's like they all came together into one big group chat and said, let's not sign unless we get the guaranteed money. And so they're kind of fighting together here and fighting the good fight, all of these second round picks this upcoming season. But Terrence Ferguson being one of those makes it very intriguing for the Rams. Again, Joshua Feinhurst discussed it in depth last episode. You guys can go back and watch that video if you want to see what he had to say. But I wanted to bring it up because I did want to say the one dangerous thing I think that's not really talked about as much for Terrence Ferguson is, yes, he's your second round pick. He was the first pick for the Rams. This off the board for the Rams, right? He's the first pick they had the opportunity of selecting this year because they traded back into the second round out of the first. And so very important player, very important piece. Obviously, Sean McVay, very excited to have him. Les Snead, everybody in the room, excited to add him to the roster. He's saying he called himself the best tight end in the draft. He's saying the Rams got the best tight end in the draft. Sean McVay seems to feel that. But it's kind of scary, right? Because in this situation, if he's not going to report, if he's not, going to be there on July 22nd, which is just a few days away, if he's not going to be there, he's putting himself behind a little bit. You're talking about a guy like Tyler Higbee, who is a really good NFL player, if you ask me, who, if he's healthy, it's not really that hard for the Rams to say, okay, Terrence Ferguson, we don't necessarily need you to be playing right now. So I do find it interesting, Terrence Ferguson, see what he can do. I want him to get that guaranteed money. I'm always on the side of the players. Get all the money you can. They play a very dangerous game for our entertainment. So I don't care about the money side of things. But I do feel like for him in his own career, I think he needs to be there for as much as he can right now. And so it's very intriguing to see what decision he makes. He may be one of those players on the verge of potentially being the first one to sign not a guaranteed contract, I would say, just because, again, I think he needs to take advantage of every opportunity he can on the field. But we'll wait and see on what he ultimately decides. You guys let me know how you guys are feeling about this. Are you worried about this second round pick holdout? Are you not really worried about it? I ultimately think all the second round picks are going to be signed sooner rather than later. They're trying to hold out as much as they can to get as much money as they can. Hopefully these teams will pay up and give these guys some guaranteed money. So that way, they're happy and everyone's happy and involved. The NFL is going to make their money. So just pay these guys these guaranteed contracts. Let's move on. And hopefully that could be a thing for the future. Other players start really fighting for these guaranteed contracts. If I feel like if you sign a contract as an NFL player for $10 million, you should get all of the $10 million, whether you're hurt, whether you're playing, whether you're not playing. I think you should get all of it. Of course, it's going to obviously become some rocky situations down the road, but that's kind of how I feel. You guys let me know how you feel about it in the comment section down below. Moving on from that, really quickly, last but not least, trivia of the day. My favorite part of the episode where I ask a trivia question. You give your trivia guesses down below in the comment section, whether you're right or whether you're wrong. We will give you a shout out on the next episode. Last episode's trivia of the day was this question here. Kind of a fun one if you ask me. Who holds the single season sack record? That was the question that we asked on the last episode. The multiple choice options that we gave you guys were A, TJ Watt, B, Aaron Donald, C, Michael Strahan, or D, I don't know why I said his name like that, by the way, or D, Reggie White. A, TJ Watt, B, Aaron Donald, C, Michael Strahan, or D, Reggie White. Who has the single season sack record in NFL history? You guys give your guesses down below in the comment section. We're going to give you a few of you folks a shout out here. Shout out to Glider saying Strahan. Shout out to Juan saying, what up, Josh? Appreciate your work on the weekend. As for JG, Jared Goff, he is only expressing his feelings. I hear you. But I agree. He needs to focus on the present, not the past. Agree with you there. On the trivia, believe it's Strahan. Go Rams. And I have a Boston Terrier named Max. Shout out to you, Juan, for everything. I love that you guys are really paying attention to all the details of the video. Really, really shows me you guys are watching. I appreciate it. Yeah, my dog's name is Jeannie, by the way. She's a little rat terrier. She's kind of wild, but you know, we always love our pets, right? Raymond says Michael Strahan, but unfortunately that sack record that broke the record on the broke the record on the play. It looks like Brett Favre went down on purpose to give Michael Strahan the record. I think they've talked about that in the media in the past, that kind of Brett Favre did give him the record, conceded in that sense. Daniel says JJ Watt. David says trivia answer July 13, 2025 is Reggie White. We had Thomas saying Michael Strahan. We had the real J Will saying Strahan with the cheap Favre collapse before he could touch him. 5 in a row, baby. I hear you, J Will. That's what I'm rooting for here. As technically speaking, the correct answer for this trivia of the day of who holds the single season sack record, the correct answer is Michael Strahan, 22 and a half sacks in 2001. Yes, Brett Favre did concede and kind of give him the sack to let him get the all-time record. But TJ Watt did tie it in 2021. So I just want to kind of throw that out there to you guys. TJ Watt tied the record in 2021 with 22 and a half sacks. So 20 years after Michael Strahan broke that record and held that record all that time, TJ Watt did tie it. So maybe some of you guys would argue it's TJ Watt that holds the record. They both share it. So a little bit of a trick question. Shout out to all of you guys who guessed it. Whether you got it wrong, whether you got it right, I appreciate you guys. Shout out to Dre Will says Strahan 5 in a row. Appreciate you. We had Thomas saying Strahan. We had Daniel saying Watt. JJ Watt. I said TJ Watt. So it wasn't JJ Watt. Sorry, Daniel. Strahan said, Raymond said Strahan. Juan said Strahan, and we had Glider saying Strahan. So I appreciate all of you guys who got it correct. Appreciate all of you guys who guessed right either way. If you missed this trivia of the day, you want to play along with today's trivia of the day and get a shout out just like these folks did here, go ahead and play along with today's question, which is this question here. What running back has the most career fumbles in NFL history? What running back has the most career fumbles in NFL history? Is it A, Walter Payton? Is it B, Eric Dickerson? Is it C, Tony Dorsett? Or is it D, Ollie Matson? Which running back has the most fumbles in their career by a running back? Is it A, Walter Payton? Is it B, Eric Dickerson? Is it C, Tony Dorsett? Or is it D, Ollie Matson? Give your guesses down below in the comment section. Whether you're right or whether you're wrong, we give a shout out on the next episode. I appreciate all of you guys for continuously playing along with these trivia questions. You guys let me know your guesses down below in the comments section. Other than that, that's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me the favor, press that subscribe button now before you leave. That's going to do it for me. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and I am out.